Well, I got a lot more time to do rankings now. I'm gonna do one right now. Um, yeah, coronavirus is out of control. Like, it is legit out of control. This, today, like, right now, like, it is completely out of control. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be home more. I didn't get it. Personally, I didn't get it. But precautions need to be taken, and precautions will be taken to make sure that I don't get it. Which I don't know because I kind of went to a concert yesterday, but yeah, Dragon Force. I'm gonna miss them. Today we're gonna be ranking Death, of course. I said I was gonna rank Death. I went through the albums today because I'm gonna be home for about a month, which is completely ridiculous. I'm going beyond and above to make sure that I do not get the coronavirus, which is completely fucking ridiculous right now. To start it off, for my least favorite of their albums, which kind of is the main, actually is the overall what people don't like or don't or think it's the least favorite album of the Death discography, which is Spiritual Healing, of course. Thing is with this album, the production's a little more off. It's kind of a different direction than mostly any of their other albums. I actually do like this album. I consider it 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's damn near perfect. Um, Production, that's the only thing that's wrong with it. Um, their other albums kind of had that heavy, hard sound to it, but this one kind of was flat almost. Best one off here is probably the first track, Living Monstrosity. It says, "She's a stupid bitch," and I love that. I love that part. The lyrics are awesome in that album. It's all about spiritual enlightenment, like how crazy religious people are sometimes, and how crazy non-religious people are sometimes. That's what I get from here. Um, Low Life's awesome. Genetic Reconstruction's awesome. Killing Spree, Altering the Future, Within the Mind, the title track, everything is top on Flea with that album. Just the production. Number 6, For No Good Reason. All of them up above here are 10 out of 10, completely perfect, and the only reason why it has to be here is because I have to rank one here, which is Individual Thought Patterns at number 6. Again, with how death was back then, when they were still going, when it was still like, they're still relevant nowadays. They're still inspiring death metal, but the whole thing with this album is I have to put something here, and this has got to be the one that I got to put here because it's kind of, I just think the riffing is not as good as the other ones, but it's pretty much perfect. Yeah, favorite one off here, The Philosopher, definitely. And then Trapped in a Corner is probably my second favorite off here. And then Individual Thought Patterns and Out of Touch. Those are some awesome songs. Number 5 is gonna be their first debut album. The reason is because I need one to put here. Because I can't. This was the hardest ranking I've ever had to do. I know Cannibal Corpse I said was really hard. This is like 10 times harder to rank Death's albums because the band is just so good. Cannibal Corpse, they had a few at the bottom that was like 7, 6s, and this is 9, and then right up to 10. 6 of their albums are 10s. Like, no, Infernal Death, awesome. Zombie Ritual, the best, not the best one on here actually. Regurgitated Guts is my favorite one off here. Just the slow chugging of that guitar and the when it comes out with Suicidal Preacher hangs himself as the opening line, you know it's going to be like on top of the whole, you know it's going to be the best song on the album when it starts out. Like, this is the album that got me into death metal. This is the album that I first listened to get into death metal. It was back in, I think, 10th grade when I was sitting in study hall that I ended up looking on Spotify on Metallica's. I don't know why I got recommended to me on a Metallica album, but was in the recommended page was Death's Scream Bloody Gore, and I decided to listen to it. That starts me out into getting into Malevolent Creation, Deicide, Edge of Sanity, all those old school death metal bands. This is the start that got me into it, and I just love every minute of this album. Okay, let's get into number 4. Number 4, or my 4th favorite death album, is Human, of course. Lack of Comprehension is just amazing with how just the whole like bass or like the whole atmospheric feel to it. It kind of gives it like the blend into the new decade of death. Suicide Machine still has that old school vibe like that, flattening of emotion, kind of gives it the whole enlightened feel to it, like Death had in their prior albums after it, which it's, you could go through it and link it to psychological stuff or just, you could look at it and try to get what he was getting at, but it's so hard to do. Like, he put so much of the psychology into those albums that you can't even like differentiate what he's talking about because it's so enlightened. And with this album, it kind of has that, and it has the gore too that everybody likes, like Suicide Machine and Sacred Face. And it's just perfect. It is just perfect. I think the drummer recently passed away though off that album. Let's go into number 3, or my 3rd favorite death album, which is their last album, which is Sound of Perseverance. Same with the other thing, intricate solos. Like, this album has more just blood curdling screams in some of it, like the when he yells a Spirit Crusher on the song Spirit Crusher. The riff on Spirit Crusher just gives you chills when it goes off, and Flesh and the Power It Holds and Voice of the Soul is just instrumentals somewhat. Voice of the Soul is kind of instrumental, but it actually, I think, is fully instrumental. Scavenger of Human Sorrow is the same way, with most of it's just the solos, but there is some lyrics to it. Bite the Pain, same thing, goes into the psychology and enlightenment and all that cool stuff. And to forgive is to suffer, same thing. The Moment of Clarity, awesome. The Painkiller cover is awesome. Same thing, you just get death with a weird twist to this album. It's a weird twist towards it. And if Death ever did another album, or they can't do it now, but if they, let's say Chuck did not pass away in 2001 and they did another album, it would be more enlightened and more progressive than that. It's kind of a mindfuck. Like, it really is a mindfuck. And I'm not trying to disrespect Chuck here, but it would be a complete mindfuck, the next album. There is probably another universe where that actually happened. Next one, number 2, is Leprosy. The thing is with this album, it's their second album It's raw. It's gory. Leprosy is a nasty song. Forgotten Past is crazy. I think there's one song where it's like a blood curdling scream like early on, but it's more like a death growl type scream, which is cool. Pull the Plug is cool. Open Casket's amazing. Primitive Ways is amazing. Choke on It's awesome. Everything on this album, it's just off their debut. It's right after. It's the album right after, a year after, and they just kill it on this album. And that brings us to number one, and you probably narrowed down to what is number one of my death ranking, which is Symbolic. The same thing with Sound of Perseverance, but just executed a whole lot better and a more death metal feel to it. Songs like Zero Tolerance, Empty Words, Crystal Mountain, and yes, I tried to attempt to decipher what they're actually talking about, and I sat for about a day straight trying to do it, and it didn't get done. If anybody can attempt to do that and actually succeed, you have my damn approval. You are a damn god. Just everything with this album: Misanthrope, Perennial Quest, Crystal Mountain, Without Judgment, Symbolic, Empty Words. Every song on here just sounds just as good as the last song, and it just steamrollers you over. The way it's just making you think. That's all it does. It makes you think to the point where your head hurts. And that is amazing. So that's how I rank Death. That's how I rank the Death albums. Hope you liked it. Don't go to any concerts, please, guys. If you bought tickets to a concert, do not go, because we're having more and more people catch this damn virus, and I thought it was just paranoia, but if you look at 1920s Spanish flu, I think it was, that was no joke. It was straight from the First World War, and it wiped out a lot of it. I'm going to say 15 million people die in World War One. Happens, and the death toll goes up to 29 million. We do not want this to happen here. So, stay home if you can, and watch out for other rankings, because I'm going to do other rankings in the next coming weeks. I got a few in the works. I got one that I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with, which will be up maybe Friday, at the least. At the least. I'm promising Friday. Probably will be Friday. I still gotta listen to it. It's going to be Cradle of Filth. And then I might do like a little society, maybe Dragon Force, because I'm going to be missing the Dragon Force show. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm missing the show with Visions of Atlantis and Unleash the Archers. Love those three bands, but due to me not wanting to put myself in danger, I'm going to not go to those shows. So that's it. Hope you guys like this ranking. It's kind of a longer ranking. I kind of go more into depth with this because I've been listening to this band for years. And I know every single album by heart, what every song sounds like off the top of my head. I have pumped it into my brain, and I know some of the lyrics, which is not very big. I could maybe get Def Leppard, because why not? Def Leppard, maybe. Cradle of Filth will be the next one. Hopefully, or maybe if I get another idea, I'd do it. Maybe like Rings of Saturn. I don't know if you guys would like that one, but probably not. We don't have very big. If you can't tell by the T-shirt I got, I went to the Killswitch Engage show yesterday, Um, Probably one of the dumbest ideas I've ever done because coronavirus. Um, but this is it. It's done.